Good morning. Um, my name is Cheryl Thornton, and I'm a SEIU 10 to 1 member and a COPE delegate. Thank you for joining us today for this important forum. Today we come together as a community to engage in a dialogue about leadership,
Yes.
representation, and the future of our organization. This forum is an opportunity for us to hear directly from the candidates, ask thoughtful questions, and reflect on the shared values that guide our work. Our goal is to ensure that every voice is heard, every candidate is treated equitably, and every member feels empowered to make an informed decision. By participating today, you are contributing to the transparency and inclusivity and the accountability that strengthens our organization. So let's proceed with respect, courtesy, and commitment to collaboration as we shape the next chapter of our shared journey. Thank you for being here, Akbar.
Thank you.
So today, there are 3 people running for e-board and SEIU 10 to 1. Teresa Rutherford, who is the incumbent, Jan Park, who is running on a slate, and then there's Akbar Bibb. So there are 3 slates currently running for the e-board. I was just informed this morning that Jan Park will not be able to participate. And the incumbent president, Teresa Rutherford, she's not here at this time. And I did send her an invite and a text message, but unfortunately she hasn't arrived yet. So we're going to proceed with the forum, and I'm going to ask the questions that I was going to ask all the candidates to Mr. Bibbs. So, okay, so the first one is visions and principles. What programs or initiatives do you plan to implement if elected as e-board president, and how do they align with the core principles of SEIU 10 to 1?
Well, I mean, one of the things that we definitely got to start off with is building back that trust, winning back the trust of our membership, engaging our membership. And my vision needs to come from a collective voice of our members. I don't think I can just say, hey, you know what, Akbar has all these great ideas and not vest it out to the membership. I think everything that we should be doing should be about engagement. I think this election is a testament to a room. I'm right now at one of our biggest halls, and I'm in an empty room, right? Where we have over 60,000 members that need to be engaged, that need to be informed, and need to be heard. But it hasn't been a practice with our local. Back in school, one of my professors, he said, Akbar, you're going to be a part of the problem before you're ever a part of the solution. And that really, I was really offended by that, because I always thought like, hey, I'm out here doing this work. I've been a union, I've been on our board, our executive board, since 2009. I've been the area rep. I'm currently the vice president of Region A. And, and I've been on the job for over 30 years. So I've always been about the work. I'm a social worker by trade, and understanding how to work through difficult situations. But what I'm seeing in our local is we're not communicating with our members. We're not engaging our members. We're not meeting our members where our members are at. Our members right now, they're working 2 and 3 jobs. They're struggling with housing. They're struggling with childcare. Right now, for me to be here today, my son is here, and my mother and my mother-in-law. And so we all have to make these sacrifices, but what sacrifice is our local making for us? What are we doing to engage? What are we doing to communicate with our members? If we're about service, let's be about service. Let's show up, right? And I'm about showing up. Oh, is that time? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. There's no volume on Zoom.
Oh, they can't hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Am I I'm muted? It looks like I'm muted here.
Muted while we were moving around.
Oh, here, right there, unmute. Okay, can you hear us on Zoom now? Okay, great.
Well,
Sorry about that.
I just gave a whole dissertation.
Okay, so you're actually on. Now it's on captions.
Oh, excellent.
So what we're gonna do, so
Okay.
you guys can hear that answer again, I'm gonna restate the question.
Okay.
First of all, let me. I don't know if you guys heard that there are 3 slates, 3 candidates running for president of this union, and currently there's 1 person present. I did invite all of them, and I sent text messages. 1 did cancel, and the other one I have not heard back from. So let me pull up the question again so you can hear it. So what programs or initiatives do you plan to implement if elected as E-Board president, and how do they align with the core principles of SEIU 10-1?
Yeah, so I better make it a little shorter. But so one of our themes and one of is do no harm, right? And as a steward, our goal is to not do any harm to a member. And I think, as a local, we don't go out to do harm, but we're doing harm by not communicating. We're doing harm by not engaging with our membership. We're doing harm by not listening and supporting our members and their families and meeting them where they're at. I see us right now be in a situation where I think like, hey, I'm the president, I'm Akbar, I have a vision, and my vision is more powerful than the member's vision. My vision is something that I don't need to check in with them on. That I need to have the vision. I am this person, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not. I'm not that guy. And what I do is, as the person that I am, I'm about service. I definitely am a great listener. I'm a great engager and meeting people where they're at. I don't care if I meet them where they're at and they cussing me out. I don't care if I meet them where they're at and they're nothing but yelling. I'll take that hit only because one of the things we've done harm. We've harmed some members. We've told them, oh yeah, we're about the community. And damn it, we're not in the community. Oh yeah, we're gonna make sure you get the best negotiated plan ever. And we're not doing that. You'll get negotiations that's happening in certain locations that's better than the negotiations that's happening in others. And the support. So for me, I think that we as a local, we have to do better at that. We gotta show up. The schools are going to be under attack right now. We got Project 2025 that's planned on attacking your immigration, attacking, trying to privatize everything, trying to just do everything under the sun to attack the working man and woman, right? So how do we do better? We do better by showing up. We do better by engaging. We do better by communicating and building trust. People don't know to trust their union. They don't know to trust their leaders. Damn it, the leaders aren't showing up. We got to show up, even if I don't want to show up. I'm a social worker by trade. Some of my clients, they're not in the best conditions. They're struggling with their mental health. They're struggling with addiction. They're struggling with neglect and whatever the circumstance is. But if I'm there, I'm only as good as the resources I can provide those families. Right, and I feel like being a leader, damn it, we gotta meet them where they at and be as good as the resources we can provide them. We're not helping people with housing. We're not going to the Capitol. If I meet with the mayor right now, I shouldn't be in there by myself. I should let the membership know that I'm about to meet with the mayor. Does anybody got something they want to say to the mayor? I'm going to let it be known. We got to be transparent. We're having these meetings, and then I'll come up to you after the meeting. Hey, I just met with the mayor. Well, Akbar, I needed to know that before you talk to the mayor, because he's got programs right now that are about to hurt us, right, and about to hurt our membership and hurt this community. How do we become transparent? And because being transparent is uncomfortable. Me telling you I'm struggling with my own child care, that's not a comfortable statement. Me struggling with caring for my family, my elderly parents, that's not comfortable. But that's the truth, and that's indicative of all our members probably, or they have different struggles, but I need to listen. And that's one of the things you said, my vision is to get out of these regions, right? Because these regions are walls that we put up, barriers that we put up to separate out. Okay, this is region D, damn it. Region D don't blend with region C. C don't blend. We all got some things that are issues that go across the regions, you know, and we got to talk about that. And we as leaders should be able to go wherever the issues are and be able to address those issues. Project 2025 is a clear attack, but we have to be on the offense, not the defense. And part of the offense is engagement and really meeting our families where they're at. I'm in a union hall right now that I can't bring my son in because there's no daycare here. There's nobody here to watch him. There's no toys here. This place is void of that. This place is not welcoming to families. We should be welcoming to families if we're talking about supporting families. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Bibbs, one question.
Yeah.
Can you give one example, one concrete example of how you intend to engage the membership?
Yeah, I think we should have a team of engagement. I don't think it should be one person. I think just like we do Together We Rise, we have this, we're going to go and, try to get members to sign back up to be with the local. You know, if we're engaging the membership, we won't have to do that because we should have team of, support the vice president, support the area reps. But just in San Francisco alone, we got 65 chapters. Who's engaging these members? Who's out here doing that? And that work, if I'm elected, is something that I want to be held to. How do we get out and engage them? Meet them where they're at. We need to have picnics. We could have family day. We could have, go on a trip together, play bingo. We could be doing something today, do a bingo night. Do something that is coming from the membership. I can say what I think, and they'll be like, no, Akbar, we hate bingo. We want to do a quiz night, or we want to do a game board night. But you got to engage them where they're at. And it may seem frivolous. It may like, what is game night going to do? We got members fighting members right now. We got literal members going against members because we're not engaged. We see each other because everybody is under the stress of working two jobs, under the stress of trying to figure this out, struggling with our own food insecurities, and no one's there to help us. So we got to engage, check in, and when you check in, you can see like, oh, okay, Akbar is having childcare issues. Akbar, did you know there was a daycare over there that's more affordable? If I'm working in engagement, that's how I get my help and my assistance through each other. And if I'm working with different people and we start understanding how we are all a part of the same community and really being about the community that we're already in and serving each other and supporting each other.
Okay. So the next question is around experience in education and development. Can you share an example of educational programs or trainings you successfully implemented within your chapter or area prior to running for this office?
Yeah, so, man, the biggest thing with that one is we have it right now where we have steward trainings that are online. We have actual steward trainings. There's going to be one in Far Northern Regional Center on the 21st. Again, when you're trying to engage members, you have barriers, right? We have our own barriers. Like you have some places where the president has been the president for like 18 years. So the president only wants their people to be involved in stewardship and this and that. But we have to tear down our own internal walls because we're not allowing that new blood to come in. So our chance to do this is from the new member orientation. The new member orientation is a window. We give them this tired packet, right, with like 4 pieces of paper, like This piece of paper show you who's who, and that paper probably wrong. And then the next paper say some stuff. And this, why not meet them where they're at? Why not have a video? Why not have something where we can really engage them, show them, oh, okay, this person is the president. This person is your vice president. What does that mean? What is the vice president? What does the president mean? We're assuming it might as well be me using acronyms to say things instead of really explain things as simple as pie. My son is disabled, right? He has autism. So when I explain things to him, sometimes I have to say it backwards to make it go forwards. I have to say it a different way. And I feel like in our communication with our members, we don't have that communication. We actually say things and say, okay, that's it, and then we're done with it. No, we have to train them. What does it mean to be the president of the chapter? What does it even mean to be a steward? What powers does that give you? What does it mean to be a member of the local? You got new families, new kids coming in. They don't know what it is. They don't know what their retirement is. And we're not explaining to them the importance. You have different cultures that don't understand what it is to be in a union. And so I think we come with a chip on our shoulder like, hey, you better be in the union, and not explain to them what it is, and we're not using our resources. So one of the things I would do is definitely update the NEO, not make it a packet that doesn't fit them, because we do one cookie cutter to everything.
And say what the NEO is again for people who can't know.
New member orientation.
Okay.
And so the new member orientation is when they first come in. That's our first bite of the apple. And then after that, we don't have any follow-up. It's like, welcome. You signed up? Good. We got your dues? Good. Shh. Don't mess with them no more. Don't tell them about no election. Don't tell them about running for anything. Keep it crickets. And my thing is, how do we break down our own issues within us, which is follow-up? You have to follow up with them. You have to check in with them. Because it's like right now, if you my friend, I'm checking in on you. If you my family, I'm checking in on you. We don't check in on our members. We don't check in. Did you get past probation? Are you having issues on probation? What's your goal? We have to follow up. And NEO is just one part of this. We should have staff trainings. We should have, because everything we have is a perishable skill. It's perishable in the sense that if you're not practicing engagement, if you're not a talkative, you like, hey, Akbar, I don't want to meet nobody. I'm an introvert. I only want to see them over Zoom. Okay, perfect. We can work that system. But it's like we have all of this technology and we don't use it. We use it to our detriment. We over zoom things, and then we're not zooming the right things. So I think engagement has to be that thing that we actually are really about. And to me, that would help us with the NEOs, not handing off somebody a packet and saying bye-bye. And somebody wants to wear an SEIU shirt, good luck on finding one. As soon as they become members, we should have it fit to them or something. They dues is paying for that. Why would we not want to, somebody say, hey, give me a shirt? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going to get a shirt from. I don't have a budget for that. And it's like, get out of here. No, we should have that. I mean, people are blindly paying these dues and we not giving them nothing. And then we wondering why the Freedom Party is coming in and able to swoop in and do stuff because we not engaging with our members. Guess what they going to do? They going to engage with them.
Well, I just have one comment. As a member, what I would like to see is that they take members to from different chapters to be a part of the new employee orientation.
Yes.
Because oftentimes these are people in the workplace that work with us, and we can build bonds with the members. And so I think that members should be implemented into this process more.
Agreed.
Because unfortunately, our reps, they're rotated. They're here today, gone tomorrow, and they can't build that kind of relationship like the workers to workers can build.
Yeah.
So for me, as a member, I would like to see more.
Well, that's
members
being
involved.
member-led. That is actually being member-led. I agree 100%. I don't do the NEOs. But see, me as a leader, I'm not about that power game. I'm not about, I need to be the president because I'm the only one that had that kind of vision. No, it's about who who are we bringing up? Who should be leading that chapter? It shouldn't be the same person. If it's the same person, then we're failing. If we're not bringing new leadership in, we're failing. If we're not training, there should not be the same person doing the NEO. The new member orientation should be done by the membership. But that's the thing where we have Region A, Region C, all these, the leaders should be coming together. That's where we have our regional meetings. And then we have a meeting, the e-board it's not necessary, it's for the board, but it's for the membership. I think the practice that we've had, and I'm not trying to practice that way, the members show up to the board, that's what the board is about. The board isn't about Akbar and me sitting here and sitting on this big throne of like whoever I think I could be. No, it's about us really making it about the members and listening and really taking an active approach to this. And any training that we're doing is about how to engage, how to understand what your contract is, how to understand what this local is, and teaching them what unionism is. And to me, that's what it's about from my standpoint, in educating the staff and educating the members. But we got to invest in the right staff, too. If we're not investing into the right staff, that's the other part of this. That's the other failure that we could have as leaders.
So, so my next question, thank you. My next question is, can you share, wait a minute, no. Leadership under adversity. Describe a time when you had to make a bold decision in the face of adversity to protect union members and uphold labor rights. What was the outcomes?
A strike. So I was the president of my chapter, so the Solano County chapter, and we had to strike. And because at the table they weren't offering us a fair wage, they basically put us in a situation where the social workers were sleeping in their car at the time, working, going out to, actually deal with neglect issues. And if it was in the middle of the night, they couldn't go home and then try to come back to the 8 o'clock shift. So they were sleeping in their cars. We had different other safety issues, in the department, and none of these things were being addressed. And we got sick and tired. And the membership agreed to a strike because of the unfair labor practices that they had going on. That was our first strike for that county. We shut the county down. And me as the head of that strike, it was beyond stressful. It was jarring because you were asking people that were actually struggling with their income to take a stand. And knowing the impact of that they could risk losing their housing, risk losing, cars or what have you. But they chose to strike under my leadership, and I had to really follow through with that fight and communicate out everything that was going on, even if it wasn't nothing going on. So it was times that the county had basically stopped talking to us. And damn it, I had to tell them, I don't have an answer. I don't. I don't sign your check. They do, and they're refusing to communicate with us. And having that conversation and not being in that kind of control, it makes you feel kind of helpless. But in that situation, there were members of the library. These members are working. They were below the minimum wage at the time, and they weren't going to get what everyone else got. But they were the first ones on the line. They were the first ones stepping up. And as a leader, that hurt me even more because I couldn't get them the equity that they needed. But they stood 10 toes down, and I stood 10 toes down with them. And that's what it's about. Not always winning everything, but still willing to stand and fight for whatever it is that we're going to get that's justified for our members. And for me as a leader, that was one instance. The other instance was around this pandemic. It was a really hard time for me because my sons were born at that time, and for
You had
us,
twin sons that
I
were
had
born.
twin. Yeah, my boy, I lost my son Jackson at
I'm so
that time,
sorry.
and for me, we were all going through loss. We were going through isolation. We were going through, just like, man, I can't even go visit my clients because of that. So for me at that time, we were still fighting just to have the county shut down, just to have just the things to protect us from getting the virus. And so right now, to me, we as leaders have to first show up. Me showing up today, as I stated, it's not an easy day. I mean, I don't have childcare. My son is here. My mother-in-law is here. And I have to make these sacrifices, as everyone has to make these sacrifices. And as a leader, to me, showing up is the first move in the right direction. And making tough decisions, the first tough decision is that I'm not going to settle for nothing less. I'm not going to sell it for myself, and I'm not going to sell it from anyone that's to the right or left of me. So our board has to be about our leaders and our members. If we're not holding each other accountable, then what are we doing? Yes, there's going to be many tough decisions coming up in 2025 because we going back up against Trump. I was there in when he got elected, and I was there when January 6th happened, right? So, as being a leader, I've been there, been battle tested under those conditions and under the strike because we had just completed our strike. And for me, I just feel like we gotta make the right decisions as members
Well, don't
to
leave us-
elect the leaders.
Well, don't leave us with the cliffhanger. What was the outcome of the strike?
Oh, we won.
Oh, great.
We
great,
won. We
great.
won,
Great.
and we were successful. The county called us in and gave us everything we wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it was a 4-day strike, and we did It was the PERB. We had to be with PERB after that because we told them we were only going to do 1 day, and it ended up being 4 days.
Okay.
And we won that strike. And we were doing robocalls. We were doing news. I was doing news daily. I hit every media outlet, and from there just learned how to communicate out what it is that we're asking. Just like right now, I had to learn by fire, and it feels like right now, as the man that I am, to be a leader here, there's no book for this. This has to be coming from you. I'm a grown man. I'm 55 years old. I'll tell you that. I know I don't look it, but I am. And
Who says? No, I'm just teasing.
and to me, I'm not in this for any accolades. I mean, if the will of the body is to say no, I'm still going to be in support of our union. If the will of the body is anything less, I'm still in support. I'm still going to be doing that service. I'm still going to be doing it. If I get the opportunity, my goal is going to be to lead us through these trying times and be that voice of reason, be that voice of support, be that voice of service. Everybody that's running with me, I have 30 members on our slate right now that are ready to go day one. They're not hesitant, and they're going to definitely hold me to the test. And
So are we.
yes, and that's the goal. I'm not in this for it to be comfortable. I'm not in this. I'm not in it to like, oh, this feels really good. Like, to me, showing up is to have the battle. We have to show up. Even if you don't know what the answer is, show up, because you can be real and express, hey, you know what? I don't have all the answers. And being a social worker, I've walked into situations like, clients suffering from, just all ALS or suffering. I've walked into certain situations where, I walked in and all I could do was cry with them. You understand? And so my thing is, I just want to be true to who I am and true to my membership and true to the body. That's my goal.
Okay. So I have just 2 more questions. And my next question is around advocacy and support.
Yes.
And given the current political environment that we are in,
Yes.
given HR 94 and 95, given Project 2025, how we have many members in our union that have mixed immigration
Yeah.
statuses in their household. How do you intend to protect the members' civil rights? How do you intend to amplify their voices and unify them?
The first thing is definitely just knowing our limitations, right? Or knowing what we don't have in place, right? And knowing what their rights are. Each region or each county has like their own response. I know through employment eligibility they have like a toolkit that they send out to support these clients and members. The biggest thing for me is one, as a local, that we're able to support each and every member, no matter their status. But you got to have their trust. No one's like, okay, let's have a meeting over here, and everybody in this room that's having any issues with their immigration, let's meet over here. That's not going to be the way to do it. You understand? If I'm not trusting you and I'm in that circumstance, we need to make sure that what we're trying to do fits. First of all, having a real comfortable, honest, not comfortable, but just an honest conversation where what is it that how can we help? What do they need from us to help them? Because right now, I mean, it was just a rumor, right, of whatever happened in Kern County, and then it was like, boom, it could have possibly happened in this county. They ran a little Zoom thing like, hey, people are worried that come Monday that these immigration enforcement officers are going to show up here or going to show up at the daycare, show up at your school, and your kid is at risk, your family's at risk. That is real. That's real. And how do we support them and really do that work? We have to get on the ground. We have to get out there in these areas because I support Yuba, Far Northern, and some of these areas, even within California, even though we're a sanctuary state, there's certain areas that share information. They're red, and so we have to really understand, really be able to, as a social worker, one of the things you try to do is put your morals and everything you're going through over here and really put it from the side of the client or the member and really express and feel what they're going through. And to have my family be removed or to actually be, sent somewhere or torn apart that way is something that's very serious and heartfelt, and we have to do something. We can't wait for something to occur. So I think we need to hit the ground running right now. And I wish this election was over right now so I could really get to work, because it feels like as a union, we're very much about reacting and not responding. And I think that's something we have to change, because if we don't have nothing in place, we're only going to be reacting.
Yes. So that was my last question, but now I have people here
Yes.
who are members, and I would like to know on Zoom or in person, do you guys have a question for the candidate? This would be the time to ask that question. Piper? Yes.
How you doing, Piper?
Or Teresa, who was online? Yes. You have a question.
Okay, my name is Piper.
Hi,
I'm
Piper.
the vice president of the.
Oh, I hear Teresa saying something.
Yeah.
Is there a microphone
That's
for
okay. I'm gonna try to hear, after she's done, I'm gonna try to hear your question, Teresa. Hold on one second.
I don't know if that's okay. So I'm the vice president of the California College of the Arts chapter, which is actually just right down the street. I'm pretty new to the union. I've only been in the union for, we organized in, we actually voted to join 10-1 in 2019. And we're just about coming up to the end of our first contract this coming summer. And something that has kind of been on my mind is just kind of like the nuts and bolts of the local, things like signing up for membership. So many of my coworkers I know have gone through that process of signing up for membership multiple times. And these kind of like, just like infrastructural things of the local, what are thoughts that you have about improving that? Because I think everybody wants to increase the power of the local and bring more workers into 10-to-1, as many as possible. And kind of what I see is that there's work that needs to be done sort of foundationally.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean,
Thank you.
first of all, thank you for being here today, Piper. Thank you for taking your Sunday out. For me, I think once a member signs up, it should be that we actually communicate out to you. One, have your local leadership definitely letting you know who is the staff person, who is your president, or the different leaders in your chapter. Maybe you don't have the structure. You see what I'm saying? Because there are some chapters that don't have a president, don't have the chief steward, those type of things. So, giving you that breakdown and giving you a one-on-one person to talk to and ask your questions. Because what happens is sometimes when we get as big as we are, it's like, oh, okay, somebody's going to take care of that. And then, oh, okay, somebody's going to take care of that. And then it's so removed from us that we don't know that no one took care of that. And so for me is, I think it needs to be something where something happen once you come in, that once you sign up, that we really start communicating with you. And not too much that we bombard you, but actually communicate effectively with you. The questions that you have, because sometimes I can assume what your questions are, but when I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand what she's saying. She's like, well, how do I find out more? Oh, okay, cool. This is what we're doing. We actually are having this training this day, or actually we're going to have an action that day, because sometimes people want to see what the local is doing. And understand, like, there's actions happening today. There's actions that's going to be happening tomorrow for Martin Luther King celebrations. There's going to be a breakfast here in San Francisco. There's going to be an action pretty much in each city. And I think that should be pushed out there so that our new members understand what actions your local is about. But sometimes what happens is it's quiet. It's like you're a member and it's like, shh, nothing's happening here. And then until there's your negotiations, then it's like, oh, there's my local. And then 3 years after that, you don't see them. And we only wake up for negotiations. And to me, that's not fair. I think there's so many things that we're doing in the community. We're community activists. We're at every event, or we have kids that are playing softball, baseball, or what have you. We're in every facet, so we should be speaking to that. And like you're saying, I think as the leader that I am, I feel like everyone that I've come in contact with has spoke on that and been fighting for more change on that level. But that's one of the reasons that I'm running, is because sometimes being, here, it's like you're up here talking to someone and they're just not listening. They turn off the volume on you, And so what I've seen is that, Piper, I would like you to check in with me in a month, or in 2 months. I'm like, hey, you said you were going to do something for us as new members coming in. I don't see anything, And that may feel uncomfortable, but to me, that's being accountable, because being accountable is that if we're not addressing the new member, that to me, that ends our local. You see, that's the way that we don't exist in the next few years, because this president, this leadership that they're bringing in is gonna really attack that. So if we're not taking care of you coming in, how are we taking care of the members that are currently here? So that is really important. Have you got any trainings right now? Have you been a part of any actions or anything? Or
Yes.
oh, good.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I've been able to do several like leadership training.
Good,
local
good.
legitimacy training.
Good.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I feel like they went really well.
Excellent. So are you wondering what's next?
Well, I'm kind of thinking more in terms of kind of like systems
Yes.
within, like organizationally within the union.
Okay.
To kind of
Good.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I feel like they went really well.
Excellent. So are you wondering what's next?
Well, I'm kind of thinking more in terms of kind of like systems
Yes.
within, like organizationally within the union.
Okay.
To kind of like make it easier for folks to find answers to questions.
Okay.
And things like that.
So any particular question? I know you.
Yes, I can
I'm sorry.
help you figure, I have a comment to that. So we don't even have a basic org chart. So if I go online to look up who is what, where do I go to get what resource? All I can do is call member service and they'll have someone call me back. I'm in the dark. Is that what you mean? Something like that, a org chart? Or, even in the chapters with the shop stewards, when there are grievances, sometimes the chapter leadership or the stewards don't even know what's happening with the grievances in the chapters because the rep is not even communicating with those leaders in the chapter. So like, what systems can we put up to make this more transparent for people to be able to find information out of what is actually going on?
Yeah, and kind of this like the signing up for membership. This, I'm not sure if this is like specifically with our chapter. It's kind of been up in the air whether our chapter, we're a small private college.
Yeah.
It's kind of been up in the air. Are we in education or are we in nonprofit?
Oh,
So they
okay.
don't know what industry they're in yet.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is part of why when my coworkers sign up for membership after I do their NEO,
Yeah.
sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. And we can't always get a clear answer from our rep has a difficult time finding out.
Wow.
If we ask them, hey, can you check, is this member is wondering if they're signed up for membership, can you find that out? They can't remember. The answer that we always get back
So
is
you're just
send us
said,
the
are
form
you
and
under
sign it.
education or are you
They
under
don't know.
industry? Wow. Yeah. Well, that's to me that's part of the other issue. Because if we're organizing, you should know right in the beginning.
Right.
Right? So once you sign that card, it's like, okay, cool, I'm falling right here.
Right.
And that's something that's a very clear and succinct. So that's something that I'm going to be working on right now, trying to get the answer to that one. But for me, I think when you sign up, we should definitely let you know that because that to me that stops because you don't know which way to go. You know, and then you're bringing other members in, and you're like, I guess we're under education, or I guess we're under, this industry. So yeah, I see that as something that I'm going to be working on now. But yeah, that's a great question because we should be telling you that in the beginning, not in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's something
Thank
you would have to fix and work on. 'Cause
Yes,
currently
no,
at
I
this
can fix
time-
that one right now, actually.
Yeah.
I was just gonna piggyback, but you could do another question.
Okay. Okay, so hi, Teresa. We're going to bring the microphone up so we can try to hear you, your question. So go ahead and see if you can.
I asked just quickly, you said the other two people who did not.
Let's see. Wait, hold on one second. Still not loud enough. Okay, go ahead. Oh, shoot.
Hold on, just mute this.
Mute that one. Okay, now unmute. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask first, real quick, you said the other two candidates for the president did not show up because,
Oh, okay, so, Jan Park, who's running, she, had a previous engagement, she contacted me, so, and many
Okay.
of her team members are out of town, so they canceled.
Okay.
And the other candidate,
Okay.
Teresa Rutherford, I have not heard back from.
Well, I'm a new member. I'm somebody who grew up in a union family, so I'm very oriented to the union, been active in other unions in my life. But it says to me, the person who shows up says something about who they are and actually who your team is. I read the whole booklet. I read everybody, put them into teams, and I'm trying to figure out which team is the one that I want to support. And I think it's pretty clear. I mean, you can't show up for this. What can, anyway. I'm excited about being a part of this union. I have been a member for a while, but I've not had any orientation. I've had nothing. I don't know who my shops, nothing. So I don't know if that's common, and I don't want to take time with this. I just want to say that's my situation. So I love very much what Akbar has been saying, and without a question, I think that his folks are the people I'm going to vote for. That's it.
Well, that's great, thank you.
Where do you work at, Teresa?
I work at the outpatient psych department at Fairmont Hospital,
Oh, in Alameda.
Stanley. Yeah, Alameda County. Yeah.
I need to reach out to you for another reason.
Okay.
One last thing, did you have another question, Teresa?
No.
So
No.
before we close today, you talked about community and member engagement, and that brought to mind 2 years ago in San Francisco, we were facing redistricting. And one of the things here in San Francisco, they were redrawing the lines for voting. And at that time, bargaining was going on here in our union. And that particular season, I was not on the bargaining team. So anyway, I led the action for redistricting. But what was really unfortunate is that, and maybe this is more of a comment, I got really very little support from the union.
Okay.
And, but it was really important because the lines that were drawn decided that it decided who we were going to elect in future elections, whether those districts were going to become more conservative or more progressive. And the Board of Supervisors plays a very key role,
Okay.
especially during contract time and during the when they're developing the budget. And so, I mean, there were, I think it was me, and then I got 5 other people, one member besides myself, they came and joined me to do this work. And we were facing losing District 10.
Uh-huh.
We were facing losing, with the Tenderloin where the lines were drawn. They were making the city more conservative. And yet, and still, we got no leadership, no support whatsoever, really, for the most part, from the union. I muted it. And so what I want to know is, like, I guess if you are elected,
Okay.
this is something that affected the community, and it affected the union members. And how would you support members doing this kind of work? Because it was a killer. It really was a killer. I got gray.
Well, I wish my political organizer were able to speak to this. But for me, that's why we have community activists, and we also have a situation where, I mean, if we're not tapped in to the community, what are we doing? Because that's where we live at. That's where our members live at. That's where our power is. So to me, we have to take heed. And me and you may disagree, right? And even disagreeing, I still got to show up. We got to have that debate, or this is why I think District 10 should be this way, or I think this person should be that way. And then we either come up with something or we don't, but at least we had the conversation. For me, I think sometimes what happens with our local is we get into a situation that I know the best for my members, and I then close myself in and don't listen to anyone else, and that's a failure. I answer my call, I answer my email, and the team that I have is that team that is engaged in the community, is that team that is going to be out there doing that work and hopefully supporting you and communicating with you. And don't get me wrong, I think there is communication breakdowns with us as some of the leaders that we are, but me as that leader, if someone on my team doesn't show up, then that means that I got to show up. Okay? And that means that I can't pass the buck off to anyone. And so, and part of being a leader isn't okay, great, this is my team, and my team is going to have all the right answers, and I'm not going to be able to really hold them accountable. No, they're going to hold me accountable, and I'm going to hold my team accountable. And especially when it comes to the community, because right now that's an area that I feel like we're not engaged in as much as we should be as a local. And so me as who I am as a social worker, there's no way as one social worker in a county with, thousands and thousands, a million people, whatever, right? And so you're trying to tell me I can do all of this through the little resources that's coming from the department? Hell no. That comes from, I have to tap into my churches. I have to tap into my community leaders. I have to tap into the resources to serve the family that live in that community. So that's the same thing with our local. We have to have that same practice, because the redistricting of District 10, I don't live in District 10. So I wouldn't know what that is. If you're in that district, I need to tap into you and understand what's happening. What is this board doing? How is that affecting us? But I know with, being a part of ADEMS, I found out how that affects us, so in the district that I was in, District 14, but they redistricted. They ran it a different way, and that changed all of the members that I had there. So, and the same thing can happen here. So
It did happen here.
We have to stand up. We have to be accountable as a local for even when we make the mistake of not stepping up. We got to do more work to get that back right. So, but as being a leader, I'm not telling you this is going to be easy. This is going to be really difficult, because there are a lot of things that we haven't done as a local that we're going to have to really work together to make, different situations like the redistricting more effective to this membership and more effective to the community. So that just means we got to have more engagement and more accountability. First, we got to say, hey, we messed up, right? If we made the mistake, okay, call it out. And then how do we do better the next time? Just like what Piper, right, was saying, hey, I got in, and these guys, where are you guys at? I need to know more. I want to know, what are we? Are we an industry, or are we education? Where are we at? That's an error, and I'm on the board, so I have to apologize for that, because being on the board means that you have to first be accountable for that. So and then move forward. So that's my take on it. and I hope I answered your question.
You did. Well, if there's no other questions,
Did you have a question, Anthony?
if there's
Oh, okay.
no other questions, is there any other questions? Then this actually concludes our interview.
Thank you,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate the fact that you came here today.
Thank you.
To explain this. What I intend to do is share this out,
Okay.
this video out with as many members as possible.
Thank you.
My goal, I'm neutral.
Yes.
My goal is to get as many members in this union
Yes.
voting, because they need to be, but in order for them to vote, they need to be informed.
Right.
And then whoever's elected, we intend to hold accountable.
Yes, and I'm ready to be accountable, and I've that's something I've been doing my life. I have my grandmother to thank for that, and my mom. They just, if you made a mistake, they were always about being true to whatever you made the mistake on. For me, moving forward, I think as a local, we gotta get better with our elections. I feel like coming into a room like such and not having our members here and not online. I know that you're here, Teresa, and I know Piper's here and other members, but this needs to get bigger. We gotta engage our membership.
So January 26th, we have already been granted one more form, and it's going to be the slates, all the slates that can participate. And so it's up to you guys on the slates to also invite people that are on the fence. It's
Okay.
to engage as many of our siblings as possible
Okay.
so that we can get them voting.
Okay.
Okay.
And thank you, Ms. Cheryl, for all that you're doing. Thank you for the time, and I know this isn't easy. I know you feel like you're going against a tidal wave, but thank you for that and being in that gap. I appreciate you. I know the membership appreciates you too. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and don't worry, I'm used to adversity. I'm going against the tide. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Teresa.
Bye-bye.